you've got to check out these hidden Xbox features. Let's chat with Night City's most notorious edgerunner. If you stick around, you can see me open this mysterious envelope. I am joined by a very special guest. She has worked extensively in the voice acting industry as a voice talent, as a director, as an assistant director. You can hear her in anime like Demon Slayer, Bubble, Skeleton Knight in Another World, and most recently as Lucy in Cyberpunk Edgerunners. I'm talking about Emi Lo, ladies and gentlemen. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. So, voice actors in general, you and your colleagues, you kind of fly under the radar a little bit. What is it like seeing the response to Cyberpunk, the popularity, all the people watching the show and running to go play the games because they just can't get enough? Is that something you anticipated where you're like, oh yeah, this is gonna do numbers? Like this? Really
shocked. Still pretty shocked. Because, like, you know, they were hyping it when we were recording it and all that, but, like, I'm a pessimistic realist or whatever, so I'm like, you know, if it does great, that's awesome. If not, you know, that's all part of the job. It's been very intense, and it's been really interesting seeing how many people watch the dub, because, again, what usually, like, it's always like, yeah, the Japanese actors are, like, you know, the only way to watch it, but then there are actually like people like watching it being like, actually it's based on a Western IP, so maybe I'll check it out English first, which is totally different.
Yeah, unfortunately there is that kind of like elitist attitude where it's like, only sub, I only watch sub, never dub. But yeah, the English cast killed it, absolutely killed it. I loved every moment of it. What is your favorite Night City slang?
You know, the term like preem, it just reminds me of like my friends from like Singapore, where they, instead of saying like imbalance or like amazing, they say imba. I think that one's a lot of fun. Like preem, perfect.
I love, yeah.
But yeah, probably preem.
Preem is a good one. I really like chrome, like you're all chromed out, Davy boy. Like, I love it when they're referring to the chrome in the cyber psychosis and stuff. Yeah. Lucy, it seems that she carries a lot of burdens with her.
Yes.
You know, from her childhood, with this knowledge that David is the target of the cyber skeleton experiments and things like that. Not the best communicator, but it just makes her interactions with David so interesting. Like, they have secrets from each other, and he doesn't even know about her past until later on in the show, you know, a couple years after they've known each other, I assume. If you were to play any other part in Edgerunners, regardless, forget about gender, type, what role would you want to crack at?
It's kind of hilarious because my usual type is more of the Rebecca type, the high energy firecracker. Kiwi is really intriguing.
Kiwi, yeah.
Yeah, because like it's almost like Lucy, but even to like the extreme, where like she's like completely like she just has that like wry lack of a smile, but like that tone to her voice, everything is just like it's flat, but there's like an edge to everything, and like I think that would be a lot of fun. Also, she has like great style.
I mean, everyone has great outfits in that show, but she was dripped out with the trench coat and the mask, and she was looking fresh. I didn't play the game until after I watched the show. And then I played the game, and I'm like 25 hours in, and I went back to the anime, and I was like, oh my god, there's so much from the game in the show. Like, word for word, when Lucy's doing her quick hacking, they have like the little quick hack mechanic in there. You have like different characters, Adam Smasher. There's like a whole bunch of people who saw the show, and they were like, I hate Adam Smasher. I'm gonna go kill him in the game. Yeah. Did you have any sort of like visual reference to work with, like that was part of the game, or was it just from what they had already filmed?
It was just from the anime. But your thing about the references, it just reminds me of how like I saw when only the trailers had been out, people were like, oh, Lucy is using that specific kit when it's like because they had already seen like the details in the trailer.
Clearly, she's an intelligence build focused on quick hacks and monowires. I think that's what's cool about the Cyberpunk anime. It's because you see Lucy and you're like, okay, I want to start the game and I want to be Lucy. You can totally do that. You can focus on hacking. You can have her little mono wire. You can even have the guns that she uses. I think that's so awesome. Some people are even saying like CD Projekt Red might be interested in doing other series in the Cyberpunk universe. Would you be down to return for another animated series?
I mean, absolutely. Always.
Cool. Well, thank you so much again
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so glad and grateful we had the opportunity to speak with you. Have a great day. Hope it's totally
Take
Nova.
care.
Have a totally Preem day.
You too. All right, see you soon.
Well guys, Ray is on vacation at a wedding, so I'm filling in for these last two stories, and the first one is about games with gold. So we've talked about this before in videos where Xbox basically ran out of Xbox 360 games to give away with games with gold, and obviously they want to transition people over to Game Pass, so they're just giving away 2 terrible games every month now instead of 2 terrible games and a pretty good Xbox 360 game. But I want to give them some credit because they went out with one of the best games of all time, which is obviously Portal 2. That game is timeless. It's got a great story, the puzzles are amazing, and the co-op campaign isn't just the main single player in co-op. It's a full campaign with 2 new characters and its own little story. But this month we're getting 2 games that I personally have never heard of, which it is kind of crazy for me not to hear of a game because one of my hobbies is sitting on the new and upcoming games list on Steam and just clicking every page and trying to find a hidden gem there. So the first one is called Windbound, and its description is that it's like Moana meets Breath of the Wild, and it's a survival adventure, and it was launched in 2020. Now those 2 things combined together actually sounds awesome to me. I love Breath of the Wild and I love Moana. It's one of my favorite Disney movies, but yeah, I've never heard of this game. So if it seems like something you're interested in, maybe give it a download and let Ray know in the comments if it's any good. The second game is called Bomber Crew, and it's a World War II set strategy game that came out back in 2017, I want to say. And this one got okay reviews, but either way, there's so much great stuff on Game Pass this month, like Deathloop, that you should definitely play before either of these 2 games, that I feel like it's totally fair to criticize where games with gold is at. But I don't want to act like a Sony fanboy since now we have PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium with all these great games in those libraries. I bet as time goes on, PlayStation Plus Essentials free games will end up being a lot like games with gold as Sony tries to get people to subscribe to PlayStation Plus Extra or Premium as well. But yeah, they're free games that you technically paid for, so why not add them to your account? Because you never know. Windbound could get a huge update and become the next No Man's Sky. It's happened to crazier games. And the last news story I have for you guys today is a list of accessibility options on the Xbox Series X that you may not have tried that you might want to know about. The first one of these is one that I would highly suggest everyone mess around with after I just did it on my Steam Deck. There's a new plugin on the Steam Deck you can get that allows you to juice the saturation in games and make them a little bit more colorful, which brings it a little bit more in line with what we have on the Switch OLED. It's not as good, obviously, just because the colors aren't as bright and black still aren't black, but messing with saturation is a really cool way to get a little bit more color out of your game. If you're someone who likes to play your games late at night and you're trying to avoid eye strain, the Xbox joins pretty much every other device out there at this point by also including a night mode. All you have to do is go to your profile settings and you can just easily flip on night mode. Now what this is going to do is make the screen easier on your eyes, but they do warn you when you turn it on that it might make seeing stuff in games a little bit harder. But if you're someone who uses night mode all the time, you probably have better eyes than most people anyway, so you'll just like be able to see stuff in the game. I don't know. One of my favorite features that both the PlayStation and the Xbox has is being able to remap buttons on your controller. It's something that no one ever really thinks about, but it's actually super useful in stuff like Call of Duty if you play other shooters. My favorite game to play is Destiny 2, and I know the button layout on the controller like down to a science. So when I jump into new stuff like the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 beta, I get a little confused right out the gate because some of the buttons aren't exactly where I expect them to be. So what I did is I remapped some of the buttons on my DualSense, and it made everything so much easier to play. So if you're someone who plays a lot of one game and then you play a different game in that same genre and you're having trouble, you can just remap the buttons on your controller with the Xbox software. Another recommendation I have for this is Jedi Fallen Order. They map the attacks to X and Y instead of RB and the right trigger respectively. So what you can do is actually just switch it around so that the force powers are on X and Y and your attacks are on the right bumper and the right trigger. So it feels a lot more like like a Souls game. You're welcome. I've been trying to get into the competitive modes in Destiny a lot more lately, and something I was recently turned on to is turning off controller vibration, because even though the Xbox doesn't have the haptics that the DualSense has, it does have some pretty strong vibration. And when you're trying to get like pinpoint accurate aim, I can definitely see now how much like a strong vibration will throw you off of your aim. So you can actually go into the controller settings on your Xbox Series X and flip off controller vibrations. I would give it a shot if you play any competitive shooters. And also in Modern Warfare 2's beta, you can turn down the screen shake. So if stuff like that is throwing your aim off a little bit, those are two great tips to keep your aim on point. Turn off the vibration on your controller and turn off the screen shake in Modern Warfare 2. As you guys know, I mostly play on PlayStation 5, but every time I fill in here for Ray and I dig into some of the things that the Xbox Series X can do, I'm appreciative of how granular you can get with it. That's just like the PC DNA of Microsoft making its way over to the console side with the Xbox Series X. And since I have you guys here, I want to let you know about 3 Game Pass games that I played recently that I think are definitely worth checking out. Now, I actually played them on Steam, which means I bought them for full price, but that honestly maybe makes the recommendation better. The first one is Metal Hellsinger. This is like if you took Doom Eternal and mixed it with a rhythm game, but the rhythm aspect of it is super forgiving. All you have to do is shoot on beat of the song that's playing in the game, and it'll start with the drums, and the longer you do it, the higher the multiplier goes up, and then it layers on another instrument, and then you finally get to the vocals. And once you get in the rhythm of this game, it is just so perfect that I ended up beating it in 2 sittings. And every level, there's only about 8 or 9 levels in the whole game. Every level has 3 challenge rooms that are like some of the most fun aspects of the game. It's kind of like those, I think they're called Slayer Gates in Doom Eternal, where there were like challenge rooms that were timed and you had to meet an objective. If you're into that stuff, I cannot recommend Metal Hellsinger enough. And if you have a PC, they just made it so you can put your own songs in the game and shoot to the beat of your favorite song. So I've been throwing in stuff from bands like Spirit Box and some of the older Paramore songs and like My Chemical Romance, and it's just so much fun. So yeah, I highly recommend Metal Hellsinger. And if you're a Souls fan who's been feeling the itch to play more Souls games since you beat Elden Ring, I'm gonna go ahead and recommend Moonscars. It just came out on September 27th. I think it's one of these small dev team Souls-likes, but it is so cool. You play as a statue who's been brought to life, and it's 2D. It has beautiful flowing animations. It's got a really cool dark color palette, and just like the stark contrast of red in this world is great. It uses mirrors to teleport you back and forth from hub worlds, but sometimes if you use a mirror, a doppelganger with all of your abilities will come out of the mirror, and then you have to fight it, and if you beat it, you get a new side weapon unlocked. It's just a really cool Souls-like game, and it reminds me a lot of Blasphemous, if you've ever played that. And then finally, if you're a John Wick fan, I gotta recommend Midnight Fight Express. This is a game I played on my Steam Deck, but it's also on Game Pass. It's literally a third-person John Wick simulator. It's got some really cool levels that remind me of Hotline Miami, but in 3D. All of the fighting is motion captured and choreographed, and sometimes they'll throw in a gun that you can use in the levels, and then when you're done shooting all the bullets, you throw it at a guy's head and then beat him down. It's a really cool combat-oriented game. The story is inspired by a bunch of 80s movies that I love, so if you're into that kind of stuff, definitely check out Midnight Fight Express.
What's up, guys? So as promised, I'm gonna open this very mysterious envelope sent to me by Bethesda. I got this Monday, don't know what's inside. At this point, many of you probably have seen other gaming YouTubers, influencers, whatever, open this package and see what's inside, but I have no idea what's in here, so I'm gonna open it, check it out. Personally, I'm hoping this is like a voucher for the Deathloop Special Edition Series X or something. Probably not, but hey, a man can dream, can he? Oh God, the glue is so intense. Ugh. Woo. Okay, perfect. Some sort of arts and crafts okay, here we go. This poster says, "Hey there, party animal. To celebrate the launch of Deathloop on Xbox and Game Pass, along with the new Golden Loop update, we sent you Alexis Dorsey's Golden Wolf mask for you to recreate yourself and participate in the festivities. Join us in the battle for Black Reef, taking place from 26 September through October 2nd. Play against the devs at Arcane and use hashtag Team Colt or hashtag Team Juliana to pick your side. If you would like to share more, blah, 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 blah." Okay, and we have instructions on how to assemble this wolf mask. It is like, holy crap, it is like it's like a whole thing, y'all. Estimated making time 2 hours. Hold on. I mean, I could see they added like a bunch of things to go along. It's pretty extensive mask. It's not just like your everyday, like, what do they call those ones? It's like the zoo masks that they used to send out with like the magazines and stuff. So for those of you who do not know, Alexis Dorsey is a character in Deathloop. As you probably figured out by now, he has a fox mask. It's not gold in the game. I'm sure this is just part of the Golden Loop update that they're putting out for Xbox. But yeah, very cool, very unexpected. I'm probably gonna absolutely butcher this off camera. I am not an arts and crafts guy. That is just not my thing. I'm gonna try my best and post the results to Twitter, to the channel, maybe check back in on it. But thanks so much for Bethesda Xbox for sending this out. Really appreciate it. Deathloop is available on Game Pass right now and on Xbox consoles. It was put out on September 20th with the Golden Loop update. Finally, after over a year of not being able to play it on your Xbox console, you have the chance to do so.